Hello again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Today we're continuing on with July Junk Journal Challenge and it's hosted by Lee from Art and Junk Journal Wonderland, or Lee Creates. And today I'm doing two prompts once again. I'm doing Stamp It and Words. I have got a bit of a plan today. So let me run you through what I am going to do. But before I start, this is what I did make on the last video. I did some tags and I did 3 of them actually. And there's our girl with one color. So I did 3 tags. Each tag was a different color and you can watch the video of that. It's in my playlist. So let's have a look at the page that I'm working on today. Now with my journal, I can switch the pages out. However, when I flip the page over, I really liked the color of this packaging paper that I had put in there, and it came off some artwork that is at my work and they were throwing it out, so I brought it home. It's quite rough and it's got a bit of a fleck to it, and I wanted to use that, so I went rummaging in my junk box and pulled out this brochure from Regent 7 Seas Cruises. And they keep sending me brochures and I keep using them in my collage art. So I loved the image on the front here. And this is a photo looking up at the ceiling at the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. And I wanted to use this in something, I didn't know what. My husband and I have been to the cathedral and it is spectacular. I absolutely loved it. It's probably been one of my top 5 things that I've ever seen when I've been traveling. It is spectacular. So I'd like to use it, and I'm going to do our prompts, which we said were Stamp It and Words. And I'm going to stamp quite a lot of words on here and cut out part of the image of the cathedral. The words that I'm going to stamp are probably quite emotive about how we felt on the day and what we loved about it. So what I'll do is I will start stamping. I'll put the video to some music and speed it up because it will take me quite a while to stamp lots of words on here, and I will heat emboss some of them. Let's get started. Grab yourself a coffee. Sit back, I'll put some nice music on and you can enjoy watching me stamp, and I'll see you back here in a little bit. Okay, we're back, and I have stamped lots of sentiments all around the edge of that. And you would have seen that I put a piece of paper there just to mask it for where I was going to be putting the picture. So I've stamped a lot of sentiments saying simply fabulous, explore and dream, best day ever, wonderful, believe, in awe, making new memories, so grateful. And then on the other page, I did some stenciling. You can see here I've put vision. And Gaudi had such an amazing vision for this building over 100 years ago. I've put the word vision there and then stenciled, and I'll show you the two stencils that I used for this. I did the purpley bluey kind of stencil in All and Create, and it's called Number Wall, and it's number 131. And the other one, it doesn't have a name. I just got this from Craft Online here in Australia, and it's just a cheap, I think it's Poppy brand stencil. And I did that in gesso. And so what I'll do is I'm going to come around and do some mark making on this later. But let's get started first on prepping the information to go on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the image down, and I'm also going to cut down the back and turn it into a belly band for on this page here. I'll cut those down and then we'll keep moving. Okay, so I've prepped a few things. I've cut down a backing for this belly band here, and I'm just going to put that on there after I've done some mark making. And this one here, I've cut it down, and I've also cut a backing for that. And I'm going to put that on there, but I'm going to actually lift this up so that I can write something on the inside of it. And I've also got a label out of my junk pile. I've got a label off of some serviettes that I bought from Freedom. And I punched out a piece of the brochure, and I'll stick that on there. Okay, so to start, let's just put this to the side for the moment, and we'll work on the opposite page. I'm just going to go around this with some mark making, and I'll talk to you about our trip to Barcelona. We went to Barcelona on a cruise. Unfortunately, we only had one day in Barcelona, but I had been wanting to go to Barcelona for a very long time, and I'd been wanting to go to the cathedral. Obviously, with only having one day, I think we only had 8 hours in port. We made the cathedral the main focus of the day, and we went and had a look. We actually purchased a ticket to go up to the Passion Tower. So you can go up different towers. Well, we went up to the top of the Passion Tower and went up in the lift and then walked down the stairs, but absolutely breathtaking, the views. But the thing that blew us away the most was the scale of all of the sculpture and the mosaic tiles everywhere. And when you go up in one of the towers, you get up close to all of the sculpted fruit that are covered in millions of little coloured mosaic tiles. There's oranges or lemons and pineapples and all different types of fruit and other things in these sculptures. The facade of the building is just, it's quite emotional actually. You can stand and you can look at the outside of the building. You can see all different stories out of the Bible. You can look at it and go, oh, that story is out of John, or that's out of Mark, or that's out of Romans. And you can look at the building and see the different stories from out of the Bible. So if you are ever going to Barcelona and you think, oh, I don't want to go to another church or another cathedral, it is phenomenal because it is so different than all the other cathedrals that you would potentially see in Europe. If I ever get the chance to go back to Barcelona, and stay there for a while, I will be doing another trip to the cathedral, one that is not so rushed. And when you go inside, the light, it takes your breath away. You look at this image and you think, oh, it doesn't really make sense. But all of the columns are like sculpted like trees, as if they're growing up to the heavens. And then the detail that you can see all up on the ceiling, it's just phenomenal. But yeah, the light coming through all the stained glass windows on one side of the building, there's a lot of blues. And that's why I did these purples, blues and purples and greens all coming through. And then on the other side of the building, there's reds and oranges and yellows all coming through the stained glass. And I did the patterns on the back because you can kind of see from the shapes that there's all these irregular shapes everywhere. I thought I would do that. Now, I've just stuck a belly band on there, and at some point I will put something, tuck something in there. Okay, so I don't really want to cover that up. You can see that this one here, with all of the stamping, I've just put lots of words around because the prompt is stamp it and words. So I've done both. I'll cut that out. So we have prompt 7, stamp it. Well, I think that I've definitely done enough stamping for today. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to glue that on there, and I'm going to glue another one on the back so that it hides the back. I'm going to put this on here because our card's going to want to open up when we're turning the pages in the journal. So let's stick that in. I'm just going to tape it in with some washi tape, and I'm going to tape it in with washi tape from All and Create. I don't really have very much washi tape from anyone else, to be honest. And I'm okay with the crosses on it. So let's fold that back and put some glue on that. Now, I'm going to put this on the inside, and we'll stick the 2 images on. So I was saying earlier on that I'm going to put a label on here. When I went inside, I got goosebumps all over my arms, got quite emotional actually. I'd been wanting to go there for maybe 20 years. Well, really from when I studied design, I'd been wanting to go. So now, maybe closer to 25 years now. The anticipation and the expectation of what it was going to be like. Also because it's a place of worship. So, like, it's absolutely beautiful. So, yes, I was standing in the middle of the cathedral with the light shining in and looking up. I actually sat down for a while and was looking up at the details in the ceiling, and all of a sudden I just got all these goosebumps all over me, and I got quite emotional and got my eyes welled up. I think I'd like to put it here. And my husband was so lovely. He just gave me a big hug because he'd known how long I'd been wanting to see it. He thoroughly enjoyed going there as well, but he knew how important it was to me. Now, all I did with this was I got my label maker out and typed in goosebumps and tears. If anything like that has happened to you, put a comment below of where it was, where you have just got so overwhelmed with the experience. It also happened to me when I went to the Sistine Chapel in Rome. Same thing. It's absolutely amazing. As you can tell, I'm back talking about travel and doing something to do with travel, but that's all right. It's my junk journal. And I had a piece of junk, had the Sagrada Familia on that needed dealing with, couldn't go in the bin. I couldn't throw that in the bin. I'm just putting a brad on, and when I do the back of this page, I'll be able to cover that. Okay, that's looking cool. All right, let's clear the decks and we will put it in our journal. Okay, I've put the pages into my journal. So here we go. Here's our spread. So this is the main spread, and you can see that I have stamped all around with lots of words of emotions and awe. You can see I stamped the letters to spell awe, and then I heat embossed those because both my husband and I, we were in complete awe when we were there. I've stamped lots of other words like believe, joy, wonderful, smile, best day ever, new memories, it's a good day, grateful, dreams, love, and so on. There's lots of words there expressing how we felt going to this amazing cathedral and blown away by the vision and the craftsmanship. So it has here a swing tag and you can open it up. So I'll put a photo of my husband and I here, and then I'll journal a little bit about our experience. You can see that I've put our prompts, number 7, stamp it, and number 8, words. And on the swing tag, it just says goosebumps and tears because that was me on that day. On the opposite page, you can see I did a similar thing. I stamped the letters vision and heat embossed them, and then I just did some stenciling and some mark making. And it's a little bit busy, this page. I'm not overly happy with the background, but that's what experimenting's all about, isn't it? It's not always exactly what you want. But I've popped in something into the belly band, just a piece of brown paper. It pulls it back and balances out the page quite nicely. So I'm okay with it with that in there. So thank you very much for joining me today. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you've been to Sagrada Familia in Barcelona or if you'd like to go. I'd love to hear about your experience. And I do have to give a shout out to a new subscriber, Olivia. Peter told me that you had subscribed. Thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy the videos. And thank you to all my other new subscribers. And for those of you that are doing the challenge, that are watching my videos and commenting, I really appreciate it. I'm working my way through a big long list because there's so many talented people in the challenge, and you can only get through so many videos in a day and make videos in a day. So I am ticking away at watching them, and I'm getting completely inspired by all of the ones that I'm watching. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So I used some junk, and isn't the junk much nicer in the journal than thrown in the bin? Look how many memories I have brought back today and enjoyed reflecting on our experience in Barcelona. Okay, thanks again. Actually, I'll see you next Monday for prompt 9, which is lace, and prompt 10, worn. Have a great week, everybody. Bye for now.